wanted to touch upon the usage of Anadrol and Dianabol together. Now, this is a combination that I'd used quite a few times in the past, going back 10, 12 years ago. It was probably the first time I ever tried this combination. Now, the dose that I would have done for my first time was 25 milligram of Dianabol and 25 milligram of oxymethylone. Quite a powerful combination right there. Now, out of that there, what you would find is that it does come with quite a few side effects. Now, you would expect quite a few side effects from taking such a powerful medication such as oxymethylone, especially for me. Oxymethylone does tend to increase my blood pressure a bit too high. Now, it's not something that I would really enjoy too much having high blood pressure. So, and it's also not safe. It's not a safe thing to have. It's also not a healthy thing to have to walk around with high blood pressure. And I remember being in work, and I used to work in a gym at the time. And I remember being in work, and if I started working out, I was getting nosebleeds. Also, not a very good thing to be happening at that time, that's for sure. So, oxymethylone for me has never really been something that really agrees with me. But I tried a combination at 25 milligrams of each drug together. Now, the biggest thing would have been for me would have been the side effects of acne and oily skin. The oily skin, you can sort of work around the oily skin if it's on your face, etc. Also get two, three showers a day if you have to. Obviously, wash your face throughout the day to try and keep a handle on it. However, the acne was a different issue. I was one of those people who would break out easily in acne, and from that particular cycle as well, I was on a baseline of testosterone. I was taking about 500 milligrams per day of testosterone. Now, from with that there combined, the strength gains were absolutely phenomenal. Uh, Easily, and just to give an example, it's say your bench press was 100 kilograms, so about 200 pounds, say about 200 pounds. Now, within 2, 3 weeks of taking this combination, you would find that your strength would go up to 250, 275 pounds on the exact same bench press. So it's a very strong drug for that particular purpose. And obviously, this would be a combination that a lot of strong men would utilize. However, for bodybuilding, also Dianabol and oxymethylone do pack on a lot of muscle, but also one of the biggest drawbacks that I found from oxymethylone was actually that whenever you come off oxymethylone, you tend to lose a lot of weight, and a lot of that there weight that you do gain whilst on the cycle of oxymethylone is obviously water retention. Water retention is one of the reasons why your blood pressure goes up, so forth. Now, with the Diana ball being thrown into that with it, the water retention it did happen, but it wasn't as dramatic as what it would have been on say 50 milligrams of oxymethylone. The strength gains were absolutely insane, but one of the biggest factors about this combination was actually the pumps. Now, the pumps that I would have gotten the gym at that time from this here, they were absolutely mind bending pumps. It would get to the point where it was rather sore to actually work out because your arms would get so engorged with blood. You could literally just feel like your arms wanted to explode. It felt absolutely phenomenal. And I remember after training arms or training shoulders or chest, but particularly whenever training arms, that I actually had to get somebody else to take my shirt off in the changing rooms because my arms were so pumped I couldn't even get my goddamn shirt off. So it was really, really, it was mind blowing. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Another aspect of it was actually whenever I was out walking, just walking down the street, for example, you would end up where you would be getting pumps in your shins. Now, you would go from having no pumps, and this is one of the ways I would know that Diana Ball, and in particular, Diana Ball does do this to me, the shin pumps. I would always notice after about a week of taking Diana Ball, whenever it starts to really sort of build up in your blood and it starts to really take effect, I would get really, really powerful shin pumps. So intense, so sore, painful, very, very painful, that I would actually have to stop walking. I would have to sit down. I would have to actually rest because my shins were so pumped up. That's another side effect, and I don't see a lot of people mentioning about those sort of side effects, but it was certainly something that affected me. And now, the other issue with also taking oxymethylone and Dianabol together can also be the fact that people will say about your liver's going to fall out, you're going to go into kidney failure. I had quite the opposite of that there. I used to get my blood work done quite regularly. Maybe about four weeks after stopping Anadrol altogether, I'd went to the doctor, got a blood work done, and my liver actually came back as being rather fine. There was no elevation whatsoever, and the drugs were real. I mean, I packed on a lot of size over that course of 3 4 weeks. I packed on a lot of size. I never really ever took orals for more than 4 weeks at a time. I just didn't like taking them for too long. But my liver was fine. My kidneys were fine. I've sort of been blessed genetically as being somebody who doesn't really get liver damage from taking a lot of orals, and I've took a lot of orals over the years: oxymethylone, Dianabol, Superdrol, Amdrol, 1MT. Oh, I've took a lot of orals, and so my liver, my blood work came back as perfectly fine. Well, the bad cholesterol was a bit raised. There was a bit of a raised bad cholesterol, but that went away on its own over time. Um, so it is also, it depends on the person. Some people could take oxymethylone or Dianabol or Winstrol in a small dose, and it may affect their liver, it may affect their kidneys. For me personally, I didn't have that issue. Now, for oxymethylone, it used to be that for a while underground labs were producing this combination. I'm not too sure about underground labs anymore, but it used to be that you could buy the combination. It would come with 25 milligrams of each drug in it. Now, on top of that, there, what I used to also do, I've ran this cycle maybe 3 times at the most, and from that there, I would sometimes go to Turkey and I would get oxymethylone, the Adapalene brand, over the counter in Turkey. So it was proper pharmaceutical grade medication, and that was by far the greatest Anapollen, the greatest Anadrol that I ever used. That was absolutely mind blowing, that one. And I would also, my favorite Dianabol was the little pink ties, the British dispensary, which were very, very easy to get at the time in Europe. Take the British dispensary Dianabol in conjunction with the Anapollen. Anapollen tablets for 50 milligrams. Simply cut them in half, and that was perfectly fine. Now, the other issue that I did have was I think it did cause a slight bit of insomnia. Oxymethylone for me just doesn't make me feel good. I don't usually feel good on oxymethylone. Dianabol, I think Dianabol is one of the best steroids that's ever been developed, and it was certainly uh, if I was ever going to use oral steroids, it would be Dianabol that I would go to because it's, it works every single time, and it's rather, depending on obviously if you do things properly, it's pretty safe oral to take.